Welcome, guys, to our preview for Torment Tides of Numenera. It has just unlocked as an early access on Steam in the version 000, and I just thought, being a retro-spirited game, a Kickstarter similar to Pillars of Eternity, similar to Planescape Torment, a spiritual successor, I would give you like a short introduction to this game while I'm playing it myself for the first time, so you can just see, if you're interested in that game, what you can expect from it. First, yeah, of course, the development team just says the core of the game is finished, and they want some feedback, because it's like a beta build, a development build, and it has good graphics, but that will improve even more, I think, and everything is gonna be more polished. But for now, we're gonna see what it has in store. So let's start the game. So, no, we won't read all of that. We want to go straight into the game. We'll be male.
Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Let's look at this body.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. The world is many kilometers below you.
Oh, we want to concentrate on surviving, I think. So, let's flatten out to catch the wind.
You spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well, and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
Wow, I'm really excited now, because yeah, Monte Cook was, I think, responsible for art, and Monte Cook is one of the prime D&D artists, and I'm a big D&D fan, player, game master, whatever. So let's study that world.
You see that this appears to be a huge megacontinent, the only land of any size on this side of the world at least. Great inland seas and lakes dot the land, and curiously, regular mountain ranges march up and down and across. You are falling toward what looks to be a great bay, a sprawling city perched on its shore just to the north.
So it's similar to Planescape Torment, where you also started in a really big city.
To the north and east, you see a broad plain scattered with curious structures, visible even from this height. The northeastern portion of this land looks to be a desert, a strange blue dot like an eye in its exact center. It seems to hold a city in its watery grasp. To its west is a ring of huge mountains surmounted by enormous carved peaks spewing magma into a central catch basin. What concerns you most right now is the bay below you. It's coming at you quickly.
So what I read here is like it's broad, it's enormous, it seems to be a huge world. Oh, we will try to slow the descent even more.
You've reached a velocity that could, without irony, best be named terminal. You spread your arms and legs and try to catch a draft, and it looks like you'll hit the bay that's rushing toward you, unless you hit the building in its littered waters. A strange web of colors surrounds you, thrown by a figure standing on the balcony of the structure. But it is effective only at slowing your fall. You strike the building hard enough to crack its crystalline structure, and you hear one of the engines that supports it protest and howl, and the agony of the crash overcomes you, and then darkness.
Darkness indeed. You fell. You remember falling toward the curve of the world. The ground leapt up to claim you. Impact, you should be dead. If so, this is a strange death. There's no peace here and your mind aches, struggling to form simple thoughts. This doesn't seem like death. Not like any kind of life you recognize. Let's interact. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Let's examine the bowl. Trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Carefully move it beneath the liquid. It's challenging. Let's go to moderate. We're successful. All right. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth of the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over to the glowing pool of fallen light. And now we've filled the bowl. What did that... Drop by drop the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light.
Hello? Oh,
This has changed.
No, that can't be right. If he were dead, I would be too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Anything. Are you even there? Well, if you can hear me, it means you're still alive. But you'd already know that, wouldn't you? Look, I'm just going to assume we're both alive and want to stay that way, all right?
All right.
So here's what you have to do. I can't get to you, so you need to build a way up to me. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, this is your mind. It's not like I have a map. This is your mind. I bet your memories are down there. Find them, and you'll repair the path up to where I am. Are you there? Talking to myself here.
Let's say nothing.
Stuck here.
It seems
That thing will find us in no time.
not to have a worth. That thing. The voice fades until it passes into inaudibility. Blank, oppressive silence falls, split only by the soft hum of new pylons rising from the depths here. Seems like a matrix machine or something like that. Creepy. Artificial. And in hexes. Let's move. Whoa. Wonky a bit. Now what's here? The air thickens with each step you take towards this watery orb. and whispering voices flit across one of the countless etching gaps in your mind. This must be one of the memories you were told to find. Two figures swim down through the orb, as though it is a fathomless ocean. One vanishes into the ebony depths before you can study it. The other, a male, seems to be struggling or perhaps drowning. You realize that, like the swimmer, you cannot breathe. Tear the orb open to release the water within. Yeah, let's do that. It's moderate, it's easy. Well, we should be able to do a moderate task, shouldn't we? Three difficulty. So, let's do that. Success! Permanently gate 2 might pool. Maximum might pool is now 11. Alright. Success. You plunge your hands into the warm surface of the orb and slowly, inexorably tear it open. As you do, you feel stronger. Something about this place causes even your smallest choices to shape who you are. Suddenly, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. Oh no, it's blurry. This is our memory, it seems. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell. Bubble of stale air at your resting point. It's your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body is an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. This might be the voice we've heard. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennae. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but it is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Could deceive him, we could threaten him, we could cast a spell. Well, let's... don't know. Let's threaten him. Because I don't want to lie at him, and I'm not a spellcaster, so... Shouted words seem muffled in the stale air. Your companion flinches away from you. Sorry, I just wanted to be sure I hadn't made a mistake. He makes minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond the passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later you're underwater again, and your hands are closing around a strange artifact that seems somehow familiar. Hovers above a pedestal, writhing and spinning as if alive. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. One of the ciphers in our belt. Disable the sonar pulse. I don't think this will do something, and don't know if we can fight. Let's just run. The water is crystal clear around you as you kick away from the pedestal. Your companion hangs motionless in the water, too far for you to reach before the guards arrive. You stroke for the hallway through which you entered, and, emerging into the air, you race for the great door. The sounds of something breaching the surface behind spur you to greater speeds, but you fear you're not fast enough. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel. You hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else, a gust of sour air pulling at you like a predator. inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. Oh, I guess this will determine our attributes. So, what is this? Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside to no avail. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. And what about this? The light around the door's frame dims and flares like a roaring fire in a high wind. So no one tried that before, and we can go through this, maybe. And we can use this device, which glows. This orb, this memory, resembles an eye of masked face. It turns to face you with cold disdain. Mechanisms spin and mesh beneath the gleaming surface, and an ominous ticking begins, getting faster and faster. Two cold facts emerge from the mental gap this memory once occupied. This ticking does indeed mean that the device will soon explode, and you have no one to blame but yourself. This trap is yours, built to protect the memory within. Work swiftly to disable the trap before it explodes. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, we had success. Permanently gained 2 speed pool. Carefully you reach through the misty surface of the orb, around blurring saw-toothed gears, and pluck out the heart of the device. Your body becomes more deft with the action. Suddenly the orb cracks at your touch, sending a memory jolting up through your arm into your mind. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad declivity, a flat-bottomed bowl riven by a wide chasm. Moss-covered arches provide natural ingress and egress for the light, and a broad golden disc gleams up from the floor of the valley. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, it seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we've found? Draw her attention to the hidden details that your more experienced eye can clearly see. Shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point out the metals in the bluff, the plentiful game to be found in the area, and the solid bedrock beneath the site. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound. Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend into the valley to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems like your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with that? Use the Numenera integrated into the construct's body. I don't know. Look for the deeper solution. The mystic metals. Examine the construct for mechanical force. Yeah, that's what we would do. Down to the earth we are. Everything resolves into sharp focus. And you see that the servitor's rear actuators are corrupted. You dig into the construct's back. It seems not to mind as long as you don't interfere with its task. Deftly you reset the actuators and see energy spark into disused portions of the construct's brain. The construct resumes its work, and this time it listens when you speak to it. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter.